Fran was very excited about this film, The Invite, which we're talking about today. I cannot wait to get into it. I honestly think our perspectives are often illuminated.
Oh, so now you don't know. They are having a conversation about paint colors, and you can feel that if they were allowed to, they were about to fuck.
She's juicy down there.
She is. She is like.
Because I was juicy down there. Okay. Not that you've been in this scenario, but I have.
I have. Oh, I have been in this scenario.
I've told you about this story. I told you about the story about me being in Mexico City by myself
with that couple. You didn't know they was trying to throw down.
Trying to fuck. I didn't know it.
Man, I really think this is like my contender for the best movie I've seen this year.
I completely agree. Class, clearly we recommend this film.
Let me fix it. Welcome back to Let Me Fix It, the podcast that says, I win. I always win. It's the rule. I don't lose. I have setbacks and learning experiences. Now I can win with someone or without them, but God help them if I have to win in spite of them, because like my offer now or like it later, they will like it eventually, and they'll have it much less later. I'm Franchesca Ramsey. I'm a TV writer, an actress, a producer, and a content strategist and comedian. Okay. Whew. Sorry.
And I'm DeLon Grant. I'm an actor, a singer, writer, photographer, and educator. And I win too. I win. Fred, you were reading that? There was so much neck. I said, you better give it to me.
Thank you.
Who was this from?
I really tried to channel. This comes from Duchess Ruby May.
Ooh.
I know, like the name itself plus the tagline. I wanted to read the comment that came along with this tagline. It says, this is my second video watching y'all. And this was on our Artist Way week 10 episode, I believe. You're over here speaking my heart. I want to share my tagline with you. I know it sounds a little villainish, but I'm a trauma survivor who's had to face a lot of people more powerful than myself. And just to be free of that, something that's demanded the kind of audacity I feel like we usually only see from villains. This statement empowers me, and so I hold them tightly to remind myself of who I am and what my agency is, to remind myself that I can take on all comers who'd stand in the way of me rising up, being me, and taking those I care about with me. Thank you for putting your humanity on display on these podcasts. I'm in the middle of aging and all the BS in our cultural context right now. Your hearts shine and are like a balm. I couldn't be more invigorated by you both or grateful for you. Stumbling across the pod is a boon.
Hold on, Duchess. Listen.
Okay.
The bars, Duchess, because the affirmation part of the Artist's Way, the mantra part of the Artist's Way, it might seem cheesy. It might seem a little like too, because we tend to be very cynical.
Audacious.
Absolutely. So I didn't read it as villainous at all.
No, me neither.
I've had many a therapist tell me you need an affirmation, you need a mantra. We need to say these things to ourselves because there's so much shit up here that is bad, right? So many things that come from outward that we have to actually find something within us to combat all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 1000%. And to tag on to that, we feel way too comfortable speaking negatively to ourselves.
Okay.
I mean, we just easy. You're ugly, you're fat, you're not good enough. You know, saying all types of terrible shit to yourself. So yeah,
why do we say that though? Because that's what it sounds like. You're ugly. You're fat.
Nobody loves you.
You sound like
nobody
Mr.
wants
in the
you
Color
to be
Purple.
here. It's just it's so natural to us. Yes, to say I win. I always win.
I love me.
I love me, you know, and I really liked the part about like, you know, if I had to do something in spite of you, you gonna really be upset when you spin the block and suddenly you on my side. And I'm like, no, bitch,
I don't fuck
too
with
late. Too late. So I really liked that. It's been so awesome seeing the response to the Artist's Way. Class, we love hearing your taglines. You can send them to us as a voice note at lemmefixitpod@gmail.com, or just leave it as a comment right here on one of the videos, and we might include it on the show.
Yeah, class, we are so excited. Fran and I have not talked. We usually talk about what's happening in the episode before, but Fran was very excited about this film, The Invite, which we're talking about today. I cannot wait to get into it. But just as we normally say, if you have not watched this film, pause it.
This is your disclaimer.
Okay, because you know they're going to be spoilers. If you don't care, I honestly think our perspectives are often illuminated.
Oh, so now you don't give it. Last week you tried to get at me because I said jubilous, and I want to say thank you to the classmates who said jubilous sounds like it could be a word. I think it's a new
Jubilous
word.
ain't no damn word.
But I just want to say I was glad people were on my side. Okay,
heard. Illuminating is what I'm trying to say. Our conversations tend to be very illuminating, and I think they when I go back and watch them, I'm like, it makes me want to watch the film again. You know,
I've seen tons of people say, I didn't know if I wanted to watch such and such film, and then I watched a review. Or, you know, we've done reviews where we said, don't watch this. And people said, thank goodness I listened to you. So again, great time to say, if you want to avoid spoilers, this is your time to tap out. If you're interested in this film and you want to hear our thoughts, we're about to get into it because I have been itching to talk about this film, Dion.
And we have been silent off mic. Fran and I talk all the time, so we have been silent off mic. I think. Wait,
can I read what the synopsis is for anyone?
Let me say one thing, and then we'll hop into that. I just want to say, like, I don't go to the movies a lot anymore. This podcast and what we're doing, these reviews, is making me go to the movies a lot more. Yeah. And I'm very grateful for it. Yeah. And I'm wondering if, like, we're going to continue to do this, but class, let us know if you're interested in kind of reinvigorating movie theaters in some way, or making it, you know, like Fran and I are in the industry, in the business, but like the act of going to the movies feels very special now. And I will love for us to continue maybe the artist's way, kind of, maybe we'll just have a movie once a month that we go to, right? That we come and talk about, and the class is a part of that.
Well, Dion, people have been asking for live reactions to things. A few people have said, you know, I can't remember the person's comment, so forgive me, but they said, I know there's a lot of reaction channels, but I would love to see y'all watching something in real time because they want the screams. They want. That's what they don't care about me. I'm chopped liver. They're like, give us screams. Give us screams.
Bitch, you are the setup. You are the reason the scream usually happens.
Well, you know, it's funny, Dion. Shamika, who I talk about on the pod all the time, and everybody wants her to be a guest. We are working on it. Don't you worry. But Sham is my work wife. I say we've written a ton of things together. She has the AMC movie membership, and I'm
she
thinking about getting it because I'm like, I keep seeing all these movies that I want to see. Maybe they could sponsor the pod. Let's speak
because it's like, I think the deal with that is, and you probably know via Shamika, it's like 3 movies a week you can see.
You get like 3. I think you get 3 or 4 movies a week
for like $20.
For like $20 for the month. Don't quote me on that exact amount, but it's very affordable in the sense that if you actually go see multiple movies, if you even just see 1 a week, right, you will get your money's worth because movies cost now damn near $20.
I mean, damn near, absolutely. Don't get popcorn, ready?
Don't get a snack.
But I think, like, we keep talking about how we're going to replace that Sunday. Maybe either we do once a month, or we do it like Sunday's our movie day.
Yes, pitch us some movies, because to your point about like going to the theater, I'm all into that. But like doing some classic movies, I think would be really fun. Ooh. Some like classic Black movies, some movies that bombed, you know, and we could do some like fan casting. Who would we do? Because we did that in the audio version of the pod, where we would recast like what would be the remake of this movie. I think that would be so fun.
Do that. Let's start with some Black films. Let's email us or get at us
in the comments.
Let me fix it pod@gmail.com or in the comments, or at FixItPod on social media. Let us know some Black classic movies we should watch, right? Yes. Classic movies in general, but
maybe
we'll start with the Black classics.
And maybe some we haven't seen.
I feel like there's a lot that I haven't seen.
Yeah, like ones that would get our Black card revoked. Maybe that's the series. The series is like, I want my Black card back. Movie reviews.
Let us know, class. All right, friend, get the synopsis. Let's dig into this one.
All right, so class, The Invite is the new A24 comedy directed by Olivia Wilde, and it follows Joe and Angela as their marriage is on thin ice. But when they invite their enigmatic upstairs neighbors for a dinner party, The night spirals into unexpected places. Enigmatic. That's a SAT word.
That's a big. I couldn't even define it, and I know a lot of words. Enigmatic. What does that
let me do
mean?
it. I'm gonna say like.
Me?
Oh, enigmatic. Enigmatic is difficult to interpret or understand. Mysterious. That's not what I thought it was going to be.
But I think that it fits.
It fits.
Like that is very clear of who Pina and Hawk, the couple upstairs, are.
Yes. Okay. So, Delon, first thoughts. What did you think about this movie?
Okay, so a little bit more context I'm adding on,
sure.
And then to answer that question. So this was a remake of a 2020 film by this writer and director, Seth Gay, and
it's called the People Upstairs.
The People Upstairs, or Sentimental in Espanol. I really think this had to be a play, a European play or European script or something, to be as
progressive
and dramatic as it was.
Sexy.
Yeah. Yes, progressive and sexy. But like, I don't know that we do a dramedy really well here in the States. I think this had like a really strong sense of like truth and honesty on top of the comedy.
Yeah.
I think it tends to be like Bridesmaid, blah, 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 blah,
yes,
which is funny.
Yes.
That movie is still hits.
And then
to
like
this
what
day.
has like, and Bridesmaids then has like one moment of like heart, about the friendship breaking up or whatever. But to your point, it is a slapstick, big comedy.
Broad.
Versus The Invite really balances drama and comedy in a really like it gets dramatic at the end. I got a little choked up.
Absolutely. And I think the reason I really bring that up is because this is where my brand is, right? I don't the dumb funny, the big goofy funny, I get it has its place, but I'm not going to the theater to see that.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to pay much attention to it. But if you like have truth, a keel of truth to what the story is, and it doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be honest. Like these two people are struggling they are falling out of love. They really don't love each other anymore, but they're together for their kid, right? And so they're trying to figure that out. And then this kind of thing, that this couple that upsets where they're at, meaning like they bicker, but then they have this tantalizing thing with this other sexy couple and they're reignited in some way. That really got me interested and intrigued. I thought this, I would go see it again in a second. I
loved this movie.
Fran did.
As soon as I saw this movie, I texted Delon. I was like, and we had just done a review. So I was like, no rush, but we have to review this movie. Like, I just was so excited to hear what you thought about it because I was blown away. I went in really not knowing a lot. And to your point about the Spanish film, that feeling like something that happens in like a European film, I absolutely agree with you because it's one location. It's just the apartment. It really feels like a play.
Very much so.
It's just a lot of talking, right?
Well, and why does it feel like a play? Because of the dialogue. But I think because the conflict lies in the dialogue and the relationships.
Yes.
It's not a bunch of visuals, right?
It's not a bunch of, yes, exactly. The relationships. And this is something that like, shout out to Rashida Jones and Will McCormick, who co-wrote this together. The relationships class, this is something that as a writer, I'm constantly grappling with, is like creating these rich backstories for the characters. And we talked about this on The Artist's Way last week, where you know the character so well that even if I disagree with what they do in the scene, I'm like, I get it. I know exactly why they did that because that's who they are. And that's how I felt about these characters. We meet Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde, and they are the main characters.
Joe and Angela.
And Joe is a music teacher and Angela is unemployed, stay-at-home mom. But over the course of the film, we learn that they're both artists, that she was a visual artist and that he was in a band that had a hit song. But knowing that he was a musician, or he was teaching this music class, and he is so unhappy teaching this class. It's the only scene outside of the apartment. He is absolutely just like struggling to get through this performance happening with his students. And then versus Angela, who has this eclectic home where she's buying all these interesting trinkets and making all these choices about the rugs and the pillows and the paint colors because she's unfulfilled because she's not living her life as an artist. Mm-hmm. All of that informs every detail of how they talk to each other, how they move through the space when they meet Pina and Hawk, played by Penelope Cruz and Ed Norton. The characters are so well written that you understand their conflict to a T. Mm-hmm. And I think, ironically, with all the things we're doing with The Artist Way, Joe and Angela are two blocked creatives. They are two blocked artists.
Way to contextualize. Come on now.
She's a writer. But you know what I mean?
I do. I think the thing that that you said that really dawned on me about, when you're watching a character and you go, why are you doing that? Why are you making that stupid choice?
Yes.
What this film does, and you really articulated it beautifully, is you see the flaws in the character, but you understand them, right? Yep. Or you accept them. You have empathy for them in some way. And I don't hate any of them. I don't hate Joe or Angela. No. They're just two block creatives who are Joe has this thing with his back, and I would argue that physiological thing is a manifestation of something that's happening spiritually, right? I'm not a doctor. But the thing that let's talk about some of the things we really enjoyed about this film.
And do you want to just give I read the little synopsis from IMDb, but do you want to talk about what actually happens in the film?
Yeah. So, I think one of the best parts of the film is what I call the prologue. Mm-hmm. So it's the whole film feels like a Woody Allen movie to me, right? Yeah. It's dark and you hear the two of them kind of playing some duet on the piano and they're flirting. It's like a metaphor for what happens when you're falling in love. You're trying to find the right frequency. These two people are trying to play this duet and trying to find it, and they're having fun and they're really starting to see each other.
Sexy and flirty.
It's so sexy. And then we fast forward to present day, right? That's in the past, and they're the next shot is you see the two of them in different worlds. Great direction, Olivia Wilde here. Great editing, great cinematography, because you see them separated, right? You heard them before and they're together. Now they're separated, struggling in their own respects, right? To get home, to start this dinner. The dinner starts and there are all these secrets.
Wait, before the dinner even starts, Joe is like, why did you invite our neighbors to dinner? And Angela's like, they're amazing. They're so cool. And they're fighting before they even get there. There's all this tension.
As soon as Joe opens the door, she goes, shoes? Take off your shoes. Makes a whole big deal about taking off the shoes. Mm-hmm. And the secrets thing is adjacent to what you're talking about, because he walks in the door and he's like, what is all of this dinner? And because their daughter's away for somewhere. And she's like, I told you, we're having dinner with the upstairs neighbors. And he was like, no, you didn't. Mm-hmm. And
that starts a fight.
That starts a fight. But it comes out later that she actually didn't tell him. She lied about it. Right. Mm-hmm. So there are all these things where they're trying to salvage who they are as people within their relationship, but because they're unable to do it in their relationship, they can't do it for themselves. Mm-hmm. So Edward Norton.
Wait, sorry. And before the neighbors get there, we learn that one of the reasons that Joe, played brilliantly by Seth Rogen, he is having a moment. Seth Rogen is that guy right now. I mean, he's fantastic in this.
The brand has changed. I love it. I was like meh on. I was like, he's like a dumb funny, not dumb funny, like really dumb, great. But like a goofy, like bro funny kind of guy. But he's really great. He's really
great in here. It is so funny. Again, just the little details. The reason that he does not like these upstairs neighbors class is because they have sex very loud.
Yes.
And he is like, they are freaking weirdos. I'm tired of hearing them. And it's revealed that Joe and Angela have been doing renovations in their apartment. And so Angela feels a little guilty for the noise that they've made with the renovations. And so she's like, this is a chance for us to kind of start a clean slate. We're going to have this dinner. And it's going to be a lovely night.
Which very much feels like an excuse for her to have people over, right?
Yes.
Because they do spend a lot of time, right? Because Joe and Angela argue a lot about Pina, the female identifying upstairs neighbor, her orgasms, right? Because it's very clear, like Angela and Joe are not having
a time. She's having a time.
So they come down, and it's mishap after mishap, right?
Yes.
Joe was supposed to get wine, or they don't have wine in the house or anything to drink. So that's after Angela's planned this huge dinner. The neighbors come in and they're a little weird, right? They're a little like happy to be there. Very kind of, they feel like a little crunchy granola, very spiritual, very calm, sexy. Played by Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton. Edward Norton better be close to 60 and be delicious.
Fine.
Delicious.
Fine. The body looking right and tight in the shirt.
Come on now. So they come over and they never ever eat dinner. Guys, they never touch the fucking food. She talks about making this fucking souffle. They never touch it. But
she burns the souffle. The souffle is completely ruined. She takes it out of the oven and it's completely black and like charred and messed up.
How did I miss that part?
Oh yeah. That was also kind of a foreshadowing, but also she gets jamon and she's so excited to give this to Penelope Cruz. She got this jamon and Penelope's like, oh, that's so cute. Oh my God, that's so sweet. How do you say it? Jamon.
She's Spanish.
I love how you say jamon. And then she's like, have some. And she's like, oh no, I don't eat meat.
I don't eat them.
And she's like, I don't eat cheese. She lists all these things.
Spanish charcuterie board that she's slow. The camera's like has her slowly putting it out, and she's like, oh, I don't eat any of that. Vegan. So they never eat the food, but they launch into just like a conversation. The big thing between Angela and Joe is adjacent to what Fran was talking about. Joe wants to talk to them about their sex life and be like, hey, can you guys turn it down? Angela's adamant against it, right?
Yes.
Like, we're not talking about that. So that already creates some tension because Joe slowly starts to bring that up. And then because Pina and Hawk, their names, Edward Norton's character's name is Hawk, they're already so kind of like open and woo-woo.
Yeah.
They just bring it up.
And the other thing too that's so interesting is like they are so clearly in the honeymoon phase of their relationship. They are so sexy, they're sensual, they're dripping.
They've only been dating for like a few months.
Right. But like it's sickening. Like they come in and you instantly are like, get over yourselves. They're touching on each other. Hawk is speaking Spanish to her. They're having these like little Spanish asides, and you could just feel that Joe is like, I hate them. And Angela's like, wow, look at how he looks at her. Look at how he touches her. There's a lot of like jealousy happening there.
It harkens back to the prologue, right? Where you actually don't see Joe and Angela as they're falling in love playing this piano. You just hear them. You hear them giggling. You hear them joking. So you know that this is something that they've had in the past, right?
Yes.
And I would argue that Joe's kind of aversion to it is kind of how he deals with everything vulnerable or emotional. Because one of the things is he has this whole office. He is a music teacher. He was in this band. That's one of the things that Angela really liked about him. And he doesn't play. He won't allow anybody in the house to touch the piano, right?
And they had a hit song, and when it comes up in conversation when they're talking about what they do, Angela kind of is pressing him on like, he used to be in this band, and Pina and Hawk are getting excited like, whoa, you were in a band, tell us about it. And you see Joe instantly be like, I don't want to talk. Like, no, I do not want to talk about that. It's very clear that is a huge pain point for him, that he has a lot of, again, the blocked creative. He has a lot of regret around what happened. You know, Angela's like, oh, they had a hit song. It was like a really big song. And they're all like, whoa, let's hear the song.
Play it.
And he's like, no, absolutely not. He actually like blows up.
Yeah.
And it's like very tense. And there's a lot of, again, it's almost like they are looking at the couple that they used to be or the couple that they could have been. Yeah. And I feel like that's a little bit of the jealousy and the discomfort that Joe has with Hawk. He's just like, he's not cool. Your name's not Hawk. You're not like, he's just so like negative and projecting onto him.
Which is a lot of insecurity, right? It comes out later that he's just terribly insecure because in particular, we're talking about Angela and Joe's sex life. The thing that Joe, when it kind of starts to all bubble up toward like 3/4 of the way through the film, Joe's like, you can't look at me. Like because I'm unattractive. I haven't taken my clothes off in front of you in however long, right? Yeah. And so like it's clearly a lot of jealousy and self-hatred that manifests. One thing I do really appreciate about like the psychology of the two couples is I think that Pina and Hawk really allow Joe and Angela to be seen. And this is jumping a little bit far ahead, so forgive me. But I think without Pena and Hawk, I don't think Joe and Angela can come to the resolution that they come to in the end of the film. Right.
Well, and before we even unpack that, over the course of the evening, we start to see that like Hawk is being flirty with Angela, and they start to like at one point, I don't know how they start to pair off, but Joe says, I'm going to smoke a joint. And Angela is very annoyed about this. She's like, oh, you're going to smoke in the house. Like this is clearly, again, great writing. It is clear that this is something that has been a problem and a pain point for them throughout their relationship.
Right.
He wants to smoke joints and she does not want him to do it in the house.
And that's actor in me. That's behavior. It manifests in behavior, right? On screen. Continue.
Yes. So he says he wants to have a joint, and Pena goes, oh, can I join you? And he's like, you want to come smoke a joint with me? Okay. Like, it's this moment of like, what? Why do you want to spend, like, I was excited to go do this by myself, and now Pena wants to come with me. He's like, okay.
Well, he was trying to escape. He was trying to get away from everything. And the reason that they paired off actually is because Hawk and Angela have a carpet artisan carpet fetish.
Yes.
And so like
which
Hawk
is like also a pun, right? Like,
totally.
Y'all like that carpet? Okay.
He like literally goes, stops the whole conversation, like gets down on the floor and is like rubbing in the carpet. But then like the home decor part of who Angela is really lit up in Hawk's eyes, and she feels seen. Yes. And they actually go to the kitchen because she goes to show him something else, I think.
So they pair off. And so we see Joe and Pena having, this shared moment over the joint. And we see Hawk and Angela as she takes him around the apartment and shows him all of the cool things that she's done, the tiles in the bathroom, the changes they've made in the kitchen, the different, pieces of art that she's made. And there's this hilarious scene where they're in the bedroom, which again, just masterful
Beautiful
writing,
scene.
where he's like, oh, what's in here? And she's like, oh, no, don't go in the bedroom. And there's this moment of like, it's a mess in here. Again, just beautiful symbolism for like, the bedroom is where their marriage has really died.
Yeah.
And it's in this state of flux. Like there's paint swatches on the wall and clothes everywhere. And there's this moment where she's asking him, can you help me pick what color to paint the bedroom? And class is 3 colors and they are all the same. They're exactly the same color.
But this is what I'm talking about, where like, this is the kind of movie that I'm into, because they're the same fucking color, but it's irrelevant because it's about Angela being seen.
Yes.
It's about her, and Joe can't see her, and fucking Hawk is able to see the difference and he's talking. It's so beautifully. We don't know what he's talking about. He's like expounding.
Yes.
You think he's talking about her. It's a misdirect. Yes. And then you pan out and you're like, oh, they're the fucking paint swatches, right?
Yes.
So brilliant.
Yes. But even that, it's like he is kind of talking about her, right? Yeah. Like even the shirt that she's wearing is almost the exact same color as the wall. And to your point about being seen, it's who knows if Hawk actually sees the differences in these colors? It doesn't matter. It's the fact that he humors her, and that clearly this is something that's important to her. And she is, and she is clearly an artist, right? Like there's a moment where he picks up a piece of art and he says, "Ooh, who did this? This is incredible. Where did this come from?" And she's like, "Oh, well, that was
I used to take photos.
That used to be that was a thing I used to do." And he's like, "Wow, this is awesome. You need to do this." And even like the rug, he's like, oh, this is some special designer. And she's like, oh, I just got it at, the flea market. He's like, you have an eye.
You have taste.
Versus earlier, Joe was like, did you buy this rug? You bought a rug for like, why did you do this? What makes this special? Who cares? He just goes off on how he does it. He doesn't say like, oh, wow, this is a new rug. Or even she puts on the new shirt. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you? It's like he's picking at her rather than going like, oh, you bought a new shirt? Like, this must be really important to you. Oh, you've been trying out different paint swatches for months? Let me sit down and see if I can help you pick the color versus going, this is stupid. Who cares? And Hawk just seeing it and being like, oh, wow. Yeah, I agree with this one. Olivia Wilde's performance is fantastic.
Before we get to Olivia, because it is fucking great. It's great. I just want to say one more thing about the paint swatches. This is just like a visual shooting thing, a camera thing. So there are 3 paint swatches and 2 bodies classed in the frame, right? And you kind of slowly see them working their way closer to each other. But because the frame is a rectangle, and these swatches are like horizontal rectangles, it really puts tension the closer you see their bodies getting because of the way the frame is broken up. Like there's this you know this, Fran, there's a rule of 3s when it comes to photography in particular. You always want to put stuff in a certain spot in the grid of 9, right? In a rectangle with particular photography. And as a photographer, I was like, oh my God, oh God, please, they're gonna kiss, are you gonna make out? Because the tension kept building up, them in close. It was very, very, very well done. Like beautiful, beautiful art making. Continue about Olivia, because she's fucking chef's kiss.
And I'll also just tag on to that to say, one thing that I really dislike in movies that this movie did really well, and we've talked about this in a lot of reviews, Dion, is I feel like a lot of times when there's supposed to be chemistry between characters, it's so forced that I don't believe these people fuck. And versus in this scene specifically, they are having a conversation about paint colors, and you can feel that if they were allowed to, they were about to fuck.
She's juicy down there.
She is. She is like.
I was juicy down there. Okay.
She is laughing and playing with her hair, and she's looking up at him, and he is just direct eye contact with her. And
soft voice,
speaking really softly, and the lean against the wall. It's just like a feeling that it makes you think about.
They're almost like in a bed. Like how you would look at the other person in the bed.
But it made me think about when you meet somebody at a party and you're flirting with them and you're like, are they sending me vibes? I think they're giving me vibes. They are giving me vibes. And you're going, oh my God, okay, be cool. Give them vibe back. And like you're watching, you can see the gears turning in Olivia's head. And then you also see her go, I'm crazy. He's not flirting with me. There's no fucking way.
Well, and that's when you talked about the 2 couples breaking off. Joe and Angela are very much like, what is happening? And the audience is going like, we know what the fuck is happening. What's happening. So, I mean, not that you've been in this scenario, but I have.
I have been in this scenario.
I've told you about this story. I told you about the story about me being in Mexico City by myself
with that couple, and you didn't know they was trying to throw down.
I'm trying to fuck. I didn't know it. I was telling my friend Charles this story later. He was like, yeah. They were trying to. I was like, "What? Oh my God! This is not how we do it as gays." But.
So to then switch to, we'll have to circle back to Olivia Wilde's performance, to switch over to Joe and Pina are smoking this joint, and very similarly, Pina is laying it on. She's like talking about her tattoos. She's like, "Oh, I have one here. And Joe is like, whoa, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, why is she lifting up her shirt and showing me, parts of her body and and of course they're high, laughing at everything he says. And he's very funny. So he's laying it on, and he's making fun of Hawk. He's like, oh, that's his name. She's like, stop making fun of him. And he's like, oh, he's a hawk.
That was one of the best setups. So, class, he is making fun. He's tearing Hawk's name down, and it's fucking funny. Fast forward later in the movie, he starts making fun of Hawk in person to his face, and then Hawk is like, "Well, you know how I got the name is because I'm a firefighter, and I went in and I saved somebody's life."
You're not a firefighter. He's like, fuck you.
Well, that's the other thing. Class, please go see this movie because he tells this heartwarming story where it makes Joe feel like an asshole because he lost somebody or
he lost his wife.
He lost his wife,
which was an improvised monologue. P.S.
Was it really? Yes. This is one of the only films where I don't laugh out loud a lot in movies. I was cackling in this. Cackling.
Were there other people in the theater? Because that for me was a great theater experience.
I went at an off time because of my schedule. So there was like one couple that was in there, and it was like we were laughing together. I would laugh, and then that would make them laugh, vice versa.
Oh, our theater was packed, and we were screaming.
Really?
But yes. Edward Norton, and this is also really speaks to Olivia Wilde and the trust she's built with her actors, that Edward Norton says, hey, I have this idea for a monologue, and I don't want you to know what's in it, but Olivia trusts him to know it's going to be great and lets him go for it. And it turns into this beautiful moment where he's on the verge of tears while he's talking about how his wife died, and on reflection about their relationship, he realized he had all this work that he needed to do as a man. And the name Hawk is really about, you know, the rebirth of his soul and the dedication that he's, I mean, it's this long speech, and Olivia is on the verge of tears, and Pina is like, yeah, I've heard this before. It's beautiful. And Joe is like, fuck you. Like just the feeling of, I have been at odds with this person. And class, maybe you've had this before, where you don't like somebody and then you realize that your dislike of them is really more about you than it is about them. And you have to actually admit to yourself you have been unfairly harsh on this person for no damn reason. And then they admit, like, yeah, I donated a kidney and I saved a baby from a burning building, and you're like, motherfucker.
or like somebody that you work with, you go like, there's something about, I can't stand that person, I don't know why. And then you actually just spend time with them, like you get caught up at a work lunch with them, and you're like, oh God, I'm talking to so and so, and you find out they're beautiful. They done adopted 3 kids. Yes, they have a lovely marriage. They're funny and charming. Yes, I just don't like the way they do the TPS reports. You know what I mean?
Or there's something that's a reflection of you, or there's the aspirational. I'll never forget when I was in acting school, my acting teacher said the character that you tend to be the most critical of in the film or the movie or the play is the part that you wish you could play. Ooh. And I think that is as true in all aspects of life. And I think in this instance, Joe is looking at, because at one point, Hawk mentions how old he is, and you can see Joe being like, this motherfucker is older than me, and he's so fit, and he's so sexy, and he's got this like hot, you know, wife or girlfriend, and it's a lot of jealousy and self-loathing.
It always comes down to that. Now that you're talking about this, and I'm like kind of playing a moment I'm currently having in my own life, and being like, oh, it's because of that. It's a little bit of jealousy. That's where the annoyance is coming from. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about this many a times, but and Delon, you'll remember freshman year, Franchesca was a little bitch. Ooh, baby, I love you.
Ooh, class, you've heard me say before, I couldn't stand this woman. Smart, funny, quick, mean.
You know, but it was a lot of insecurity. It was a lot of insecurity. And I had a moment freshman year. There was a girl that I just was convinced I did not like. And we got paired up together in costuming class. And she and I spent all this time together. Star, Delon.
I remember Star.
You remember Star. And I just was like, I don't know. I just like, you know, she's rich. She's blonde. She just, you know, drives a Jeep and knows everybody and is just having this cool life. She's in a sorority and whatever. And I just didn't see it for her. And we were paired up in this class together, and we had the time of our lives in this class. And I really ended up liking her. And I remember one day she said to me, she was like, you know, I really didn't like you. You were really nasty to me. And I was like, oh, was I? And she was like, yeah.
Was I?
Was I? That doesn't sound like me at all. And she was like, you know, she's like, you're actually really great. And I was like, you're really great too. And I had to admit, I was like, you know, if I'm being totally honest, I think I was a little jealous. You know, she was from a community nearby Ann Arbor. And so she came to campus and knew a lot of people. And I didn't know anyone. And I really felt like, you know, and Delon, you and I have talked about this, that being students that are coming from not as affluent backgrounds, like I had to work, like I just had so much on my plate. Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily that I wanted her life, but like she kind of had this like carefree, I don't have a job, I'm just here to party and I know everybody. And it made me feel threatened. And I didn't know how to express that at 18. I just was like, I don't like her.
And can we talk about where the threat comes from too? Because I think it's like I completely empathize with that. The threat is, you are talented, you are funny, you are smart, you are pretty, you have all of these things. And so your brain goes, I don't understand why I'm jealous of you. Why I have all of this? Why am I jealous of that? And so the threat comes from like, I need to do something to you to like reclaim some power
I need to take
over
you
the
down
envy.
a peg.
Yes.
I need to take you down a peg. And listen, I will again say, and this is where I think the Joe and the Angela of it all, I did not think that I was attractive for a very long time. And we've talked about, going to predominantly white schools and being around white people and not dating and there's so many layers there. But like, I was at a place where I had never had a boyfriend. I had never had any genuine romantic affection. And so a lot of that was a jealousy of like, man, look at how perfect her life is with her like perfectly symmetrical tits, Class, me and this little titty. We've gone through so much together. But similarly, Joe, is like Seth Rogen's like this little pudgier guy.
Yeah.
And he says like, I don't feel like, I know I don't have the body that I used to have.
And you are so hot.
Oh my God. Hot. And Angela even admits like they haven't had sex in a long time. Through the course of their conversations, it comes out that Hawk has been able to see Angela through the window. Their apartments are right by each other.
So this is another secret that comes out.
Yes.
Secret number 2.
He mentions that he has seen her walk past that window naked.
Well, and Hawk classifies it as, I'm getting this wrong, but our little game. He says, oh no, and he says it because they're so open and sex positive and they have orgies and stuff. He's like, it's happened.
I don't even think they've gotten to the orgies part at this point. He just mentioned Hawk has, spoiler, they do eventually mention that they throw in sex parties and that's what the noise is. But Hawk, as the firefighter, says, you want to be careful about these windows. These windows are not. Oh, that's
right. The type of window. Yeah.
The type of window. It's not safe, And Joe is like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, when I went, I think in that exchange, he lets it slip that he can see into that window.
Yeah.
And Joe's like, wait, what is going on? And Angela admits that she has caught Hawk looking at her through that window when she gets out of the shower and that she likes it.
And she's done it multiple times.
And she's done it multiple times. And that she essentially is missing being wanted and being desired. And that she does not have that with her husband. But now here she has it with this hot guy who lives upstairs.
This was one of those moments, to jump really quickly to just Olivia's performance. This is one of those moments where she's stuck in a corner. She's caught in a lie, a second lie, because she also lied about the dinner. So she's like, oh, it's kind of a lie by omission because it wasn't mentioned until Hawk brings it up. But the way that Olivia deals with like the stutter of trying to figure out how to make it right, how to justify it, something that is so wrong, negates the trust between them, right? Which isn't very strong anyway. Is really, really masterful. She really navigates the comedic parts and the dramatic parts so fucking well. Rogan as well. They really do a beautiful job. If she doesn't get a nod for something with this, I'm going to be shocked.
I think noms all around. Everybody gives such standout performances, but I agree with you. The nuance between. And it's difficult as an actor to play multiple things at once. And that's where the real talent is. Like that she's not telling the truth, that she's overperforming, that she's trying to seem cool when she's not, that she's trying to seem worldly and in the know. Like she's doing all of these things. And there's a lot of nuance in there. And I think, and Dion, you could probably speak to this better than I could as an acting teacher, but I think that that's something a lot of actors struggle with because it's very much a less is more. You don't need to do a lot. Like the performances in like the little choices and nuances, the stutter in her voice, you know,
Yes.
like the eye movements that she's making, and the playing with her hair, and the like just the little tendrils on her skin. Like, it's just so freaking smart. And she's directing. So like, she's planning what the actual set looks like, and what the decorations are, and the rugs, and the colors, and the layout of the apartment. Like, and the way that the camera lingers, she's making those decisions in addition to acting.
I don't know. I mean, you have to know the script backward and forward, and know the characters backward and forward to be able to do that. I cannot imagine how she's doing that with this film, because it is so masterful. One of the comps I want to bring into the conversation is the play by Edward Albee called "Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?"
Yes,
"Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?" If you don't know it, class, it was a play first, a brilliant play. It is also made into a movie with Elizabeth Taylor and I forget Richard Burton, big famous actors who were married at the time. This older couple invites this younger couple to dinner, and the older couple are basically Joe and Angela, just older and meaner, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful script, and I think this was a great nod to that, but kinder.
Yes.
It was kinder. It ended in a more satisfactory way.
Yes, Olivia Wilde did say that was one of her inspirations, including 12 Angry Men and Scenes from a Marriage, which are films that I know of, but I have not seen. We kind of touched on it, but I would love for us to unpack it a little bit more. The turning point in this film is Joe finally decides that he, in the spirit of honesty, he is going to confront Pena and Hawk about how loud they get when they're having sex. And it turns into this, what I think Joe expects them to not admit it or to shy away from it. And they instantly are like, yeah, sorry.
Well, even before that, as Joe keeps trying to do it, Angel's like, no. And then Hawk and Pena, they just say, oh, we're too loud when we have sex, right?
They go, yes.
They say it, which is so
they're like,
smart.
we know it's really, really bad. And there's this moment between Joe and Angela where they're like, wait, this is not what we expected.
right.
And they basically admit that it's not just that they are loud, that they are hosting parties with other people where they're having sex. I think they mentioned somebody else. A couple people, and Joe and Angela are like, who's that? And they're like, oh, well, she gets real loud, and so gets real loud. And there's so many funny moments in this apartment. The way that it's constructed gives them all of these places to kind of like run away from each other. And there's a moment, I think it might be earlier than that, or where Joe and Angela run off and go meet in another part of the apartment, and they basically they
go back to his office to smoke the joint again.
They're like, they're having sex parties. This is crazy. Like, I think this is happening. I think that
because is that before or after they invite them to have us? Because they're like, well, that's why we came down here. We want to invite you to have sex, and they were like,
have an experience.
I think it's Olivia Wilde's character. She's like, oh no, we would like that. We would very much like that. Yes.
Well, and to the point about the insecurity, Joe was like, and me too, me also.
It's so good. The comedy comes in threes. I think he does it like 3 times. Where he's like, wait, so just to be clear, and me, right? I'm invited too. So fucking funny.
Oh my God. It is, but it's, you know what it is, Dion? It's like
endearing.
It's the fat kid syndrome.
It really is.
You know what I mean? Where he's like, I've always been left out. And he's like, I want to do this, but like, I'm not sure. Do you know that I would be here? I think he's like,
I'm okay with watching.
He's like, you don't have to include me. That is totally okay. And they're all like, no. We would like to fuck both of you. Dion, when I tell you, I was screaming. And then when they decide, okay, we're going to do this, they split up. And Pena puts on Sade, and they're both, and she's like dancing, and she's like, come on, I want you to dance. And he's so uncomfortable. It's just like very clear he's not in his body, and he's kind of like, he's trying, and he's really struggling. And then he like really starts to get into it. And then he fucking hurts his back.
Like, because isn't she says to strip, and he's slowly starting to strip, and I think he's trying to take his pants off, and he falls,
yes,
and then has a back spasm, which is a callback to him having a back spasm when he first got home, and then Hawk and Angela are trying to figure out where to fuck, and they're like, we'll just do it on the kitchen counter. You know, the part of me was like, wait a minute.
Yes. Wait a minute. Well, and then again, it's just interesting because they're mirrors in this way that like both of them are clearly, they want to do it, but it's obvious that they're not ready for this.
Yeah.
This is too much too fast. They don't feel super confident because she is just like overthinking every part of it. She can't get her shirt off. Then she's like, well, we shouldn't do it here. Then they're knocking stuff over. Then she's like, wait, actually,
she's trying to clean.
Is she just like, it's like as you're watching it, I was so uncomfortable. And I was like, girl, because then he says to her, do you want me to do what makes Pina scream like that? And she's like, yeah. She's like, yes, please. I would like that.
Joe says it so much. He's like, we spend so much time talking about Pina's orgasms. Like she wants that.
Yes.
This class, I will go see this movie again. This movie was so fucking good. The ending gets really serious, as Fran was talking about, and I think the gravity of the ending makes all that leads up to it, all the happenstance and the misdirects and the jokes, all of that so much more worth it, and you earn the dramatic parts of it, right? I say this, class of you, we haven't talked about it on the podcast before. I was a part of a show called Come From Away on Broadway. That's not a flex. I'm just using it as an example. Yeah. One of the best things about Come From Away in terms of the script and the way it's written is that, you know, it takes the context is 9/11 happens, and all these planes land in Newfoundland, Canada, and these local folks, Newfoundlanders, help 38 planes, 7,000 people, right? Feed them, clothe them, all these things. They tell all of these jokes in the show that are verbatim from what these people said, what the Newfoundlanders said. So it's like joke, 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 something very serious happens. Joke, 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 something very serious happens. The shit that is serious is set up so beautifully under the context of humor that the gravity lands with the dramatic stuff. When they discover that in the end, spoiler, that they are not going to be together, I don't think this is working anymore.
Well, let's not jump ahead, because what happens is, class, they split off to try and have sex. It doesn't work. They don't end up having sex. And when Joe's back spasms, it turns into a big argument. They're trying to help him. Hawk tries to, he's a masseuse and he's trying to fix his back. And like it turns into this giant argument, and it really erupts. And Pina, who is like a sexologist, therapist, she has this really beautiful moment where she says to Joe and Angela, I think we only get a few chances at meaningful relationships. Usually we move to different people. Sometimes we can have a new relationship with the same people, but I think this relationship is over. And Joe and Angela each have these monologues. Like, she kind of does a mini therapy session with them where she says, why did you guys even get together? What do you love about him? And she starts talking about they talk about the first time that they met. They were at some bar and she ran all the way to get there. I think she like went home and changed or something, and she ran all the way to the bar.
She was on another date and had the guy drop him off, and she ran 11 blocks to get back to the bar because his band was playing there. That's where they first met.
And she talked about how funny he was and what a great musician. And it's so heartbreaking because we stay in the scene, and like, there is a world where this movie could have gone to a flashback and shown us them meeting, but I think it was way more powerful to stay with her and see her running back the tape of the moment.
Yeah.
And saying, I didn't tell you this, but here's what happened.
Which I didn't buy. I didn't buy that she didn't tell him that after all that
really?
time. I didn't buy it. I mean, okay. I feel like that's something you would in the context of dating and marriage, I feel, but I think the question would be why didn't she tell him? I think that there's, you know what I mean? There would be actor in me goes, well, like, why wouldn't she tell him? I guess because she didn't feel vulnerable enough or something. But
maybe she was embarrassed.
irrelevant,
yes,
but I didn't buy it.
To me, I that's not what I picked up on. For me, it was more that we got to just stay with her as she recalled this memory. And then we got to stay with Joe while he kind of like, went through his memories of the relationship. And we got to really hear the pain oh, hold on. I'm muting because last time my dog started coughing, people were in the comments like, did the editor forget to edit? Hi.
I heard about it and say nothing about it because that dog is her baby and he's sick. And
I'm the editor, and my dog is old, and sometimes he coughs. He's fine.
Yeah.
Let me mute so y'all don't have to hear it. All that to say, Pina does this faux relationship therapy moment. And then she's like, you guys are not ready for this. You're not ready for this.
I think my point about like the comedy and the drama of it all, like to the monologues that they give at the end, they wouldn't be as significant, I don't think, if we didn't see so much comedy leading up to that. If we didn't see so much misdirect, so much trying to connect and not having it. And that works really, really beautifully. And it makes, to your point about how you felt about the ending, we're laughing, we're cringing, the whole time. And then we see the vulnerable, honest truth come out of these two people that really are unable to say it, right?
Yes.
And it lands and it makes us see ourselves in them, in a really beautiful way. And I don't think, I can't remember, I keep saying that they don't end up together, but I don't think they have a beautiful moment in the end.
So that's like the big question around the ending of the film, Class, is that they have this moment where they then look at each other and they're like, the subtext of the look at them is like, is this relationship really over? And then they turn around and Pina and Hawk have disappeared.
Yeah.
And they have this moment of like, that's weird. We didn't even hear them leave. And they are kind of sulking around the apartment together. And, there's a moment where I think Joe says, I guess I'll sleep in my office. And she's like, yeah, I think that's the right move. And then the film ends with him at the piano in his office. And, we've heard at the beginning of the film that he does not play the piano anymore. He hasn't done it in ages. And, in his monologue, he really talks about like being a loser and like teaching these students and like, they don't care and I don't care. And, I hate my life and I haven't written songs and blah, blah, blah. And so it's this powerful moment where he sits at the piano and he's playing the same song that he played at the beginning of the film. And
and she joins him.
And she joins him.
And which is really poetic bookending of the beginning and the end. And to your point, I think what you're kind of getting toward, Fran, is that it's really open-ended whether they end up together or not. I don't, in my estimation, they don't, but I think it's a really lovely, it's a lovely end to something that was so bitter.
Yes.
And I think the poetic ending leads us toward they're going to be better off individually than they are together,
Yeah, because when they're having the conversation with Pina, they really confess that they are staying together for their daughter, who we never see in the film, which is similar to Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, that they have this child that we never meet. And they say, well, we want to stay together for her. And Pina says, would you rather she see her parents hate each other or be apart and love other people? Yeah. And like, do you think she's stupid? Like, do you think she doesn't feel this? And man, that stuff really, really hit me. One, as a divorcee. Two, as a child of divorced parents, like my parents got divorced when I was in the first grade. I really don't remember them together, but I remember it being so hard and me being so upset that they were getting divorced. But now as an adult, realizing like, thank God they got a divorce. Like I would not be the person that I am. And I'm like, now that I know them, I'm like, how the fuck are you guys ever together? Thank you. I'm glad you did it. But also like, what were you thinking? But the reality of a lot of people stay together for their kid. Yeah. And it's not good for them. It's not good for them. And
Well, and I mean, what is it? 64% of our generation, millennials, are getting divorced.
Yeah.
At this point,
I did it first.
You're a trendsetter. Listen, I knew 7 people that got divorced in 2020. 7 of y'all.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's a lot to be said for people growing apart.
Yes.
People not really needing something and not being able to tell their partner, not having communication skills, not having enough emotional intelligence. I have friends that were unwilling to go to therapy to fix it, and you know what I mean. So there's a lot of issues that we aren't equipped. But my thesis here is that I really wonder if we are a species that is meant to mate. Yes. And bond and build relationship, but I don't know that the contract of marriage and hot topic, get at me.
You speaking to me? You speaking to me?
I don't know that the contract of marriage is exactly what we're built for. I think that it's something that has been constructed for us to control women. But to dictate society, right? A lot of the privileges you get in our society happen to be from partnership, happen to be from having a family.
Yes.
And so all of our systems are kind of constructed around this, but I don't know that we're built for it.
And it's to your point, it's a patriarchal system because who stands to benefit from marriage? It's mostly men in hetero relationships, right? Again, we're not talking about queer relationships. And I will admit I am biased as a divorcee, but I think you're spot on in the sense that, I don't think that marriage itself is the problem. I think the way that we have understood relationships to function is the problem. And that I felt this when I was married, that I would hang out with my married friends and everyone would complain about their husbands. And that was just it. I even went to a bachelorette party and I was the only divorcee there. And a lot of the bachelorette party was like, wait till you're married, honey. You'll see how much it sucks when you have kids. And it was just like, this is a bachelorette. And a lot of this conversation is
they're
just
like
about
Marge's sisters from The Simpsons.
They're all like, marriage sucks. Wait till you have kids. And it's just like this and even if you think about a lot of comedians, a lot of men will get up there and be like, take my wife. She really sucks. It is seen as the norm. Right. And I will even admit there were a lot of times where you see married couples say this all the time, like marriage is hard. It's really hard. It's like, well, should it be hard? Yes, communicate, relationships take work, even under the best of circumstances. But a lot of folks have conditioned themselves to believe that it's better to be in an unhappy marriage than it is to be single or divorced.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people will put up with things that are just not healthy. And there's the sunk cost fallacy of I've done this for this many years. And the prospect of starting over is really scary. And I empathize with all of that as someone who's done it. But I can also look back and say there were multiple moments in our relationship where if we had been honest, I think we would have ended sooner and we could have ended on better terms rather than dragging it out because we were afraid to say certain things and we didn't want to hurt each other's feelings and blah, 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 blah. And then it, implodes. And that's what happens to Joe and Angela.
Yeah.
They're both admitting that they've been needing things from each other for years and have not said it. And now here we are at a place where we might be beyond the pale, right?
Well, and I want to bring up that Hawk and Pina are the catalyst for identifying the rupture. Well, not the rupture's there, but identifying kind of the implosion, to use your phrase, of the relationship. If without that interruption of Hawk and Pina and seeing their lovely relationship, the love in their relationship, wanting to be seen by another person in the way that they're seeing not only each other, but seeing Joe and Angela respectively, right? It makes all of it kind of explode. The other thing, though, I love the idea that they disappear. It's almost like they're angels. It's almost like they're these spiritual kind of characters that come in.
That's a fan theory. That's a fan theory of do they actually exist?
Yeah.
Are they a manifestation of their own fantasy world that needs to break them apart versus, because, they're smoking weed, they're drinking tons of alcohol. Like there is a world where, this is like a hallucination. And I really want to watch it again for that reason, to see if there's maybe clues that hint at that. Mm-hmm. But the film ends, class, with the two of them at the piano. And I went and looked up what the song. The song is "I'm Confessing That I Love You." And I think even that is very poignant, that that's the song that they're playing. And they're kind of struggling to play together. And then they start to like really get into it. And Seth Rogen's character is like really playing the hell out of this song. And we see them from that window that Hawk and Pina can see from their apartment. And that's how the film ends. And so I was going to ask you, but it sounds like you already have a feeling about it. Do you think that that is the signal of the relationship is over? Or do you think that they are deciding we're going to try and make this work?
Yeah, I think the relationship is over. And I think the images are what tell me that, right? Again, I harken back to the prologue. The prologue, we see the same thing. They're trying to find each other in the piano. They're flirting. They're building their relationship. But you actually don't see them. You only hear them, excuse me. Mm-hmm. But at the end, you actually see them doing the same thing. And you see him taking over and being able to play it boldly. And I think I can't remember if she's like teary or misty in the shot. But the idea that you actually see them, I'm like, oh, now they've arrived to where they need to be. Right. They can't go back any longer. Right. I think it's over in my estimation.
I think it's over too. I saw a fan theory that they think that they stay together because at the end, there's like a film grain on the end, as if we're watching like a VHS or like a home movie. And so the theory was that we watched a movie, we heard them and now we're seeing them and it's captured on film, almost as if they are watching and reflecting on the moment that they decided to stay together. Oh. Which I thought was an interesting, I don't know if that's the truth or not. I did see that Olivia Wilde commented on that fan theory video, which I thought was really cool. And she said like, oh, this was so smart. I really love this. And in some interviews, I heard her say that she has always interpreted the ending as the marriage is over. But over time, she started to think, well, maybe they got together. And I was like, that's so cool that as the director, she made this choice, but the audience is interpreting it in all these different ways. And I think
she left it open to interpretation. It was really left open to interpretation, and which is a gift.
I think that was so smart. It prompts, again, even the couple disappearing, which again, I don't know if that's an intentional choice to make us think like, were they really there? But it's still a cool theory. And it's an interesting conversation about, the catalyst of this needed to happen. And it was maybe going to happen whether... I don't think it would have happened if Hawk and Pina hadn't gotten there.
No, they were stuck in, and I think this is why the film is so good, because a lot of people exist in this way. You just keep going because you haven't done anything to address the proverbial elephant in the room. Yeah. But you don't know yourself enough. You don't know enough about what you want outside of the relationship to change it. Right. So you're just kind of stuck in the motions, being unhappy because, God forbid, this is what you were supposed to do. The relationship life escalator. Right. That's just how it's supposed to go. Yeah. And I think it's a nice gift for all of us. A friend of mine said she saw the film and she's currently going through a divorce. Yeah. And she was like, it hit really hard, but she was grateful that she saw it. Yeah. Because it really did put a microscope around some of the things that she was dealing with in her relationship. Yeah. Again, that she was unable to see and now are coming into full 2020 sight as she goes through the divorce,
Yeah, I felt the same way. I saw a lot of the end of my marriage in Joe and Angela. And, I told you this story, Delon, that like one of the moments that was like really eye-opening for me is I was testing for a TV show where I had to kiss Leslie Odom Jr. in my audition. I think I told you about this. And it was a husband and wife team that were marriage counselors. They were like Christians. And they were talking about the 4 horsemen of divorce. These are the things that you see in your relationship that mean you might be headed towards divorce. And they are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And I'm learning these lines, Delon, and I'm reading the descriptions of like, you know, there's lots of sarcasm and eye rolling and, you know, jokes that are maybe kind of go a little bit too far, and like all of these things that like I was doing with my ex-husband. And in the scene I had to cry and I couldn't stop crying. I got I got to the part of the scene where I was supposed to cry and I just am crying. And it was really like an eye-opening moment where I'm like, oh damn, we have passed the point of no return.
Yeah.
And so I think that they really captured that so beautifully, because I think that's something a lot of couples, even if you've never gotten a divorce, you know, if you've had a breakup, you know, the signs of like that you're just in a toxic situation and no one is willing to be honest and pull the plug. And you're just kind of like going through the motions. And I think that was what was so brilliant about this. And man, I really think this is like my contender for the best movie I've seen this year.
I completely agree. Class, clearly we recommend this film.
Yes.
Again, if you stayed and watched this whole video, even if you haven't watched the film, thank you. Come back and comment after you watch the film, because you know we want to hear from you in the comments at FixItPod on social media, lemmefixitpod@gmail.com. Also, let us know what you are interested in watching. We talked about those Black classic films. Let us know. Shoot us a list of films we should be watching and reviewing for those Sunday reviews.
Yeah, I'm super excited for us to keep doing movie reviews. And I'm going to just say it, Oscar noms for everybody.
I would be shocked. I'm
gonna say best adapted screenplay is the one that they really could win, because there's some heavy hitters this year.
Yes. Well, God, Christopher Nolan and The Odyssey. I mean, it's a, you know what? I hope that like Hollywood, sees past all of that, because this really is fraught. This is a beautiful, beautiful film, and the performances. I hope Olivia gets a nod for directing, because it's really well done. It's really well done.
Yeah, me too. I was talking to some director friends who were saying that even though they think her directing was really good, you know, there's all these politics of the Oscars, and the Oscars tends to reward directors with like big spectacle,
big budgets,
not small intimate things, which I think is so stupid. I think all of them deserve awards for acting. I will be so curious to see what categories they put them in, because like it really is an ensemble. It's hard to say that there's like leads and supporting. But even that, there's so much politics and like, well, I'm going to put myself in supporting because I have a better chance of winning versus whatever. But I really think Olivia could. I mean, it would be incredible for her to get a directing and an acting nom. I'm sure that's like will be historic. But I would love to see everybody get a nom. Wins, I don't know, because again, it's stacked right now. But I think adapted screenplay, they could take it home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really, really agree with you. I will. I don't give a lot of put a lot of value in these Oscars until I'm nominated for one, because like I don't know all the politics, and there's been so many times where I'm like, I don't agree with that choice that was made.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that we all have the conversation around the art, which I think is more important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Let's hop over to comments from the class.
Yes, let's please do. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. This one is addressed to Ms. Ramsey.
Ooh. Oh,
but
okay.
It's about the pod.
Okay.
About
I'm
the
nervous.
pod in general. This is from Lori. Thank you for your podcast. A year ago, I purchased my copy of The Artist's Way, class we're reading The Artist's Way, and never started it. Your podcast motivated me to return to the book. I took it with me to on a family reunion on a Carnival cruise. Good luck. I hope it was good. I was dragging myself around 60 family members, ranging from 6 to 90. Thank goodness I had a daily date with myself. It's already changed my life. I was so depressed that I was barely functioning. The morning pages helped me sort out my feelings and uncover some deep-seated fears. As you know, we can't correct what we refuse to acknowledge. This week, I went to the We the People show for my artist day and grand performances, Stevie Wonder tribute last night. I can't overstate how grateful I am for your podcast. Thanks again, Lori.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm so glad, so grateful for you, Lori. And class, we call you the class because we are all here learning. I know Fran and I are at the mic, right? But we're sharing ourselves vulnerably. Please continue, because it is a healing space for all of us. It is a laughter space for all of us.
Yeah.
And we love to hear from you. So thank you so much, Lori, and all of you.
Oh, that's so great. Well, I'm going to do a little something different. Instead of a comment from the class, I'm going to do a class superlative.
Oh.
If you remember, last week we had an email from a classmate who was asking for tips about looking good on Zoom because she was going to be doing interviews ahead of her new book. So I asked her we asked her on the show, but then I also emailed to say, hey, tell us about the book so that we can shout you out. So this is going to be our very first class superlative. Ebonie Ledbetter's book is coming out, The Book of Dion, on February 2nd, 2027. It's described as a charismatic relationship influencer is exposed as a master manipulator, bringing together all the women he's lied to and strung along in this razor-sharp debut that interrogates intimacy, power, and the stories we tell to appear perfect. Oh. Now that is a juicy...
Come on now. All the women he's lied to. Now, wait a minute.
Yes, he's like one of those manosphere guys who's like telling people how to do like dating, relationship coaching.
Yeah, and Andrew Tate.
Yes, but given like the cover of the book, it's like a bunch of like really Black women with like different natural hairstyles. It's giving that this is going to be kind of like a sexy Black takedown of this, terrible guy. And like, we're going to meet kind of all the women that he has been romancing and like the ways that they're going to learn that he's lying and stuff. I think this is a really fantastic premise. I cannot wait to read this book. Ebonie, offered to send us copies when it comes out. So I'm excited about that. But also class, there's so many talented, smart people in our audience. If you have a project that you're working on or something cool that you would love to share with us to potentially be shouted out on the pod as a class superlative, please email us, lemmefixitpod@gmail.com, or send us a voice note and we might include it in the show. I think this is a cool thing for us to continue exploring. Because every single time we get comments often where people will mention little things about their career. And I'm like, you're a what? Someone will be like, oh, I'm a labor and delivery nurse. So actually, you can be pregnant for 10 months. Oh, I didn't know that.
Turns out. Yes, please continue to share your stories and who you are with us. I really appreciate that. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, The Glow Up, where we give props to those who've turned themselves around without our help. Do you mind if I go first, Fran?
Sure, please.
So my first, I have two. One is not so much it's a joke of a glow up. Do you know the world is on fire, friends? I just want to, it's political, so I'm squeezing in my headline here.
Yes.
Southern France is on fire. Spain is on fire. Oregon and Washington State. A lot of Canada. We've been seeing the smoke come down to the United States. It's on fire. Chile just had a flood. Uvalde, Texas just had a flood. Like El Nino's on its way, right? We are climate change that we were talking about for 20 years that that environmentalists were trying to warn us about is now here.
Yes.
And I think we all just need to embrace that and really call somebody up. Recycle. I don't know what we need to do, but I hope we're all paying attention to it because this is not, necessarily Armageddon, but it feels like it's all happening at once.
Yeah.
So glow up, world, as she burns.
I mean,
jest, but it's scary.
You better get your to-go bag together.
Brand oh God, that was that was so crazy, man. Fran's talking about the LA fires last year, right?
Listen, yes, I went through the fires last year and it was a huge wake-up call because thank goodness I was okay, but I could see them from the roof of my apartment building. Like I could see the fires happening. And if there's a natural disaster, you need to be able to grab your shit and go. I'm talking about your passport, your driver's license, some cash, so the medicine that's important to you. We started a little group in our apartment building, but in my neighborhood with some friends, because that was also one of the big learnings that we had is like, when the shit goes down, do you know who your neighbors are? Because I'm thankfully close with a lot of my neighbors. And I was calling people because I have an app on my phone letting me know the fire situation when they were evacuating. And I was calling and waking up my neighbors and being like, hey, we got to get out of here. And so we started a little group where we get together. We just make sure everybody has each other's number, whatever. One of my neighbors was saying that you should keep a pair of shoes under your bed because in the event there's an earthquake and there's glass on the floor, and you need to be able to get out of here safely, you want to grab your shoes. And I was like, wow, I never would have thought about that, right? So again, I say it as a joke, but also class, really make sure you know what you need to do in order to protect yourself.
Have a plan.
God forbid the power goes out and you're... Honestly, Dion, when I grocery shop, I buy a few cans of food every single time I grocery shop, just so I have some non-perishables.
Provisions, yes.
Yeah, because after the fires, I was really like, now, if I had lost power, which thankfully I didn't, what the hell was I going to eat in here?
Right.
I didn't have anything to eat, you know? So making sure that you have a few things and having some clean clothes in a bag that you could just grab if you need to. If you have a pet, do you have your dog's medicine extra food and whatever, and just stick it in a place that you know is accessible?
Yeah.
In the event, you need to get up and go.
Well, and in the event is becoming the event. It's becoming an inevitability, right?
Yes.
The earthquake in Venezuela, like the I think there were some typhoons in the Pacific. It's crazy. It's crazy what's happening. And not to say that this hasn't always been happening, but I think it's just happening more, and or we are more aware of the news. I'll concede that. Maybe we just are on TikTok seeing things more readily.
It is happening more. It is absolutely happening more.
Way more than I'm used to in the last 20 years, right? So the world's on fire, like Fran was saying, great advice. At least have a mental plan if you aren't going to have a to-go bag, right? At least have some numbers where you can call people, call your neighbors, so you know what you can get some help and have some community around getting out. My second glow up goes to Sam Smith. Okay. So Sam Smith hasn't really come out with any music that I've heard in the last few years.
Yeah.
I think he had one single, but Unholy was the last book, a big thing that happened.
With Kim Petras.
Where he won a Grammy for that. But he has kind of this really cool social media presence called Sam.Served on TikTok.
With like bakeries and stuff and like
it's like any other food kind of tourism show that you'll see. Think Anthony Bourdain, think Stanley Tucci, right? With less production, right? It's just like someone behind the camera and him with like a little mic in his hand. But what I love about the brand is he's really leaning into the criticisms he's gotten about his size and his weight.
P.S. Sam uses they, them.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you.
I just did a Google.
Thank you.
Just to make sure.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I'm not going to go back and say all that, but I think I appreciate the correction.
Yes.
But they do a really great embracing.
Talking about poking at the size stuff. People have said about them.
Embracing of like a criticism he's gotten about his weight, being like their weight, saying, I'm going to go in here and because I am a pig for a carrot cake. So come with me, little piggies. He calls the audience little piggies.
Yeah.
And I love it. They are so charming. We all
I love that we're
eating.
getting to see their personality.
We're seeing their personality, but they're also doing a service to spots that they really enjoy, right? There was a spot in Tokyo that they went to. There's a spot that they used to go to growing up, a little bakery that they went to.
Wow.
I kind of like went on a deep dive about it. So again, I know that they're probably still producing music because their voice is amazing, right? But I really like that they've pivoted. I really appreciate that they have really found a voice where we get to see more of their personality. So go off, Sam. It's really, really great.
Oh, I love that. I saw one little clip of an episode. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I think the lesson here, and we've talked about this with The Artist's Way, is that like if you're creative, you can explore. You don't have to limit yourself to one lane. And I would argue that it's probably what we've learned through The Artist's Way is it's better for you creatively to explore a bunch of different stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if now that means we're getting an album soon, because this is a great let's grow the socials. Let's get more people talking about you.
Call it Little Piggy.
And Sam, if you need a strategist, I'm just going to pitch you an idea. you could be doing little musical pop-ups at some of these locations and do a
little
concert.
concerts.
A little concert in the bakery.
Wow.
You know?
I love it. I love it.
I
That's great.
love this.
Do you need a permit for that? To have like a little, to like busk outside or something?
Yeah, for outside, like when you're in the subway, and who knows, like in other countries, you usually do. But if you're going to do it inside of a location, usually you just have to get their sign off on it.
Yeah, the owner's permission, yeah.
Depending on how many people you anticipate, I mean, if it's going to be like a ticketed event, if it's just a pop-up, I think it's one of those just do it and ask for forgiveness type of thing where you're like, sorry, we didn't know that we needed a permit. And then if it gets shut down, it's a great little viral moment, you know, like you kind of run with it.
You better strategize. Do you have a glow up?
Yes. My glow up is going to myself.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if it's not obvious, we've been doing the artist way, and it's really been so transformative for me. And last week I've been wanting to explore doing video essays, which are kind of like a burgeoning vehicle here on YouTube, where it's just like one person doing a deep dive on a topic. And I had an idea for one and I banged it out. And Dion, I sat on this couch and I wrote and filmed in one night. I got it up in 24 hours. It's doing really well. It's got like 30,000 views on my personal YouTube channel, which isn't like huge, but
that's
for
amazing,
me,
friend.
But for me, because I haven't been producing content there regularly, and I have taken this long break where I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do over there. And I've done music and I've done like short stuff that's done really well, but really trying to revive my YouTube channel. And I feel like the artist way really helped crystallize my writing process. Like when I tell you, Dion, it just spilled out of me. And I had jokes in there and I had references, and I did this I'm calling Media Literacy 101 is my new series that I'm trying to do because it's something I'm really interested in, where I'm unpacking a viral AI generated video, but then also really highlighting like what are the things that we should look out for as we're consuming content around the internet, and thinking about where did this video come from? Who's the source? Does this make sense? Does this feel too good to be true? Is this video playing on my confirmation bias, right? And is it appealing to me because it's saying what I want to hear? And can I zoom out and actually analyze like what's actually happening here? And I got so many teachers that are like, this is incredible. And also I had a member of my audience recently, because I've made a number of videos talking about AI and media and fake quotes and, misinformation and disinformation. And I had somebody send me a message that was like, I'm a teacher, and if you made this a series, I would pay you for it. And I would use this in my classroom. And I was like, And so I sent them a message.
It's very coded.
It's very decoded. It really is. And what I like about it is because it's about media and not about race or identity, it just opens the conversation up to more people.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate in that respect, but also like I've done decoded. Like I don't want to make a show about race, and we talk about identity here, but I want to do something different. Yeah. And so I really feel like I've found my new thing.
Yeah. I think the coding of it all is that you're educating, right? I've always said this, like you are a giver, right? Yeah. You're a giver, you're a teacher in many ways. And it just like, the brand is strong therein. Yeah. So the idea that you're kind of shifting it to something else makes a lot of sense. Also because you did that for so fucking long, like it's, that skill.
I'm really good. And
you're really good at it. Yeah.
I'm really good at it. And I think in the glow up of it all, yes, this is something that I've done, but in the artist way, we talk about these U-turns, right? The idea that like we started at one place and then we went like this and then we went like this. That's really how I feel, that like I made this U-turn into TV, and that TV has kind of had this weird moment, and I've had my weird moment in the film and TV industry. And now I'm making this U-turn back to the internet through our show and through working at the agency as a creative director and producing content for other people and as a strategist. And now I'm getting to apply all of that to my own content in a way that feels fresh, but also familiar.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see it resonating with people. And I'm just so excited to keep playing with it. So I will link it in the description, class, if you want to check it out. I'm telling myself 2 a month.
Go ahead. Go off, girl. Go
Thank
off.
you.
I'm really proud of you. I'm really, really proud of
you.
you. I also like the way that you continue to try things. You continue to discover. You're just so curious. I'm a curious person too. I think that's what drives you. Find your curiosity, class. If you haven't yet, I don't think you found the thing that you are curious about, because I think we are an inherently curious species.
Yeah.
But I really respect the way you are kind of constantly excavating, constantly trying to find the new way to do things, or the next thing for yourself, right? It keeps you on your toes. Yeah.
I feel the same way about you, friend. And I'm glad that the show has been a place for us to explore that within ourselves and with the class. So this has been a really great episode, despite the technical difficulties. We got it together. Class, tell us in the comments, have you seen The Invite? Have you seen the original, the Spanish language film?
Yeah.
The People Upstairs. I really wanted to watch it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I might have to actually buy a copy of it because I'm just so curious. Tell us in the comments, and also maybe pitch us some movies, some Black movies that you think we should watch and review in future episodes. You can email us, lemmefixitpod@gmail.com, or hit us up over on Instagram @fixitpod.
And if you're new here, welcome to the class. We have new episodes every Wednesday. Hit the subscribe button if you like what you see, so then you can hit the notification button. You can get a little bit of a notification when we drop those episodes. There's a live chat that happens every Wednesday that is so fruitful, so cool.
It's 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. High live chat. The classmates are so smart, so engaged, and it's a really fun time.
We appreciate you. I'm Dion.
I'm Franchesca, and this was
Lemme.